Hi everybody, it's Kimberly here. Hi y'all. Thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you anybody who's been coming for a while or any new people. Today I'm going to give a stimulus package update, or alleged stimulus package update, if it ever happens. President Trump put out a tweet earlier saying, make it big, make it focused. The Democrats need to cooperate, or something to that effect. I don't remember what it really said, but first off, this is like the 11th hour for him. It really means nothing that he said this. He's said it before, but putting action behind his words, this could be something he could have really tried to do 6, 7, 8 months ago. And they've just let it, what did they say? We'll just see what happens, or something to that effect. We'll wait and see what happens. Him and Mitch McConnell and several other people of a particular persuasion. Well, you know what? We've been waiting, for our money, and they've been standing around waiting and watching and golfing while people are dying, expiring, from this disease. And businesses are destroyed. Major chains are crumbling. Some of them are going out of business. Lots of people are losing their jobs, and there may be people getting jobs, but it's going to turn over quickly for a lot of them, because a lot of these cities are going through, incredibly increased surges in this pandemic, and hospitals are at capacity. There's cities that are mandating curfews. I think New York is at a 10 p.m. curfew for, I believe it's for restaurants, bars, and gyms, and I'm not sure if it's something else, and I think there's another state, maybe state or city, that was, they weren't mandating a lockdown, but they were saying not to leave your house except for only for food, medical, or I think maybe work. It wasn't a mandate, but they were, suggesting it highly. Just please stay at home, they were saying that. And that's due to outrageous rise in cases, and I believe it's probably going to be more. I think more of these semi-mandates are not alleged, but I can't find the right word. Possible mandates, I don't know, that might come down maybe for a semi-lockdown or something like that. I think more of them are going to start, coming across the country. Other cities are, getting a little bit more, not quite totally locked down, but are getting more stringent on the hours of businesses being open and what kind of businesses. I think that's starting to pick up again, and there's talk of maybe a countrywide lockdown for like 3 or 4 weeks. I remember somebody, I don't remember who said it. I wasn't really listening too much because I kept hearing so much that just different ways of, locking down totally or halfway or semi or this, or just making curfews or only allowing certain businesses. There's so much stuff going around right now, and it's not really clear. And I guess when you're out golfing, you're not paying attention to what's going on around you, or, out in the open, and, this 11th hour call for that is kind of like a kick in the teeth. Okay, we should have already had it months ago. And I'm not trying to be political, not trying to pick one side over the other, except for the fact that money needs to go directly to people. It needs to go to working class people. It needs to go to people who are unemployed, people who are struggling, people, even if we have a job, if these lockdowns and mandates go through, we may not have a job tomorrow. We need some kind of income, and I know that some people may not agree with giving a lot of poor people money, but this country is financially imploding. People are not secure in, their shelter, their homes, getting food, paying for their cars. Something has to be done. This country can do that. And I believe Andrew Yang talked about a basic universal income. I think that this country can do that. If they can give so much money to millionaires and billionaires in the way of tax cuts, I think we can re-implement that tax and give a basic income, even $500 a month or something, to pay for shelter, to make sure people can pay their cars so they can get to work, or, buy food for their family if they're not eligible for food programs. A lot of food programs, they cut you off at a certain income, but after you pay for your house, your car, insurance, everything that you need, there's a lot of stuff that goes by the wayside that, people skimp on, because having a home, or if you live up north where it snows and it's really cold, you don't want to get your gas and your heat cut off in the middle of wintertime. So sometimes you may be spending $400 or $500 on a heating bill, paying your rent, paying your car payment, paying your car insurance, putting gas in your car. Sometimes food and other things go, under the table, under budget, where you can't buy what you really need. You're struggling to buy food. That's crazy. In this country, I already had a video I did about a homeless girl, and right now that's starting to kick in a little bit. This country, it's outrageous how some people think that a certain class of us should just, we'll wait and see what happens to them. We'll not pay them enough, or, make money off of their backs while they're working for our companies to get rich off of. And then when something like this happens, oh, we'll wait and see what happens. That I don't agree with that. And I'm not trying to be political and pick a side, but I don't agree with that kind of thinking. Just as a human being, to wait and see what happens to people. Well, I think that's just simple math, and if we do get a stimulus package, it's going to have to be big. It's going to have to be much bigger than what it was before. I really believe that, because if you're going to give money to businesses, if you're going to give money to individuals, if you're going to give money to governments, state governments, city government, municipalities, or anything like that, it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be a gargantuan amount of money. It's, going to be in the trillions. And to worry about, we don't want to give money to people who are already out of work or might lose their job, especially in the middle of this pandemic when it's getting worse and worse and worse. The numbers are going up. I think that's insane. I think really there's going to be more payments, but how much it is, who knows. And I think it's probably going to take several payments. To me, in my opinion, I would think that it would have to be several payments and not small payments. I just don't see really giving $500, once or twice. I think it's going to have to be at least $1,000 or more several times over. I can't see how we're financially going to get back on track in this country where businesses can survive, because, like I say, there's thousands of businesses that have shut down. There's thousands of them that will never reopen. There's people who are in an age bracket that have owned businesses and they don't want to. They're at an age where they're almost ready to retire, or they're about to quit their business, and that's a large chunk of people. And because a lot of business owners every year retire and close shop because of that reason alone, not just because of what's happening now. So you've got that sector. Then you've got the sector of people who just started businesses, and it's really hard to start a business, especially a restaurant, and be successful. And this is the worst time, possibly in history to try to start a restaurant. And I can't imagine, starting it, and then 2 or 3 months later you have to close down because of something like this. And then there's businesses that they can't afford to pay their employees. The economy isn't good enough. They're not making enough profit, or they have to lay off half their staff or most of their staff. They're just running on a skeleton crew. So it's going to take a lot of money to restart this country. And to me, I think it's going to have to be checks over $1,000 and several times over. I don't know. Who knows? Anybody knows. Well, I hope I hope everybody is going to get what they need. I hope everybody, I'd done a video about a homeless girl a couple of days ago, and now it's just doing this video right now is starting to kick in. The feeling that I had in that video is kind of like transferring over to this video, and it's very upsetting to me. I can't understand how some people can be so greedy, so thoughtless, and so horrible. You really see the true nature of somebody's character, especially in the moment of crisis. And this country is in the biggest crisis that in my lifetime, that has ever happened. And to sit by the wayside, play golf, and decide, well, we'll wait and see what happens. That is the most unconscionable thing that I think I've ever heard of supposed leaders of this country. It is just outrageous. Okay, I better shut down now before I get really upset. I just popped my wrist. I was so upset. Okay, thank you all for coming to my channel. I hope we get some kind of package or something. I can't wait to do an update on that when we do. And I hope everybody that's struggling, I hope things get better. I just don't know how to say it, In my heart, I hope everybody gets what they need. Thank you all. Like, comment, subscribe.